I have to charge my iPhone as well. In fact, it's not mine, it's F2. Hello everybody. Okay, here we can try myself.
Not very well made.
Hi everybody.
Hello.
Today I'm doing a personal podcast with regards to the music industry in Singapore. And the title, as you all can know it, is the music industry for you. And so, hi, I'm Ram, and so I have this big brother over here who will talk to us more about the podcast with regards to, he is a special guest, and we will be talking about the music industry, the local Singaporean music industry. So, do you want to introduce yourself first?
Yeah. Well, everybody on Twitter knows me as single name. That's my handle. If you don't know me already, that's okay. You can always start now, and you can always follow me on Twitter. Unfortunately, you will not see me anywhere else. So I've been actually kind of following the local music industry, but particularly the Mandarin language music industry, but with a bit of loose tabs kept on some of the developments in the English language music industry here as well. So there's actually been a lot of music going on in Singapore for the last, 60 years-ish, basically since, and even before independence and until today. But we always get this feeling that Singapore music, we don't know a lot about it, people don't hear a lot about it. So exactly where is this industry?
Sorry.
That's something.
Okay, so they say that the auto rotation is something wrong. So let me just adjust it. Is it work? Let me do this side in that case. Okay, let me just...
Yeah, just try that.
Okay, I think it's much better than this.
Okay.
Sorry, continue?
Yeah. So Singapore music industry has really been around as a whole for a very long time, but it's always kept this state where a lot of people don't know a lot of things about it. I mean, we were just chatting about stuff the other day, and we realized that there's a lot of information that a lot of Singaporeans simply really have just never heard of for some reason or other.
Yeah. So, what do you think about the local industry, and do you think that we can actually make it better? For example, right now we are actually at the Imperial Mall, right? And we know that Music Dreamer Live Cafe is actually they're going to close this year, and actually in fact this month.
They've actually been operating in Singapore for about 24 years now.
Yeah, so, 24 years. I mean, I didn't even know that Music Dreamer Live Cafe is open for 24 years. I only knew about Music Dreamer Live Cafe, also known as 爱琴海. A few years back, like when they were still in Marina Square. Before they moved over to this Imperial Mall,
this was about 6 years ago.
It's about 6 years, 7 years ago, and I never been to this place until like 2 weeks ago when I first met you in person. After like following each other.
We've been chatting for quite a while on Twitter, but so this was a venue that it principally specializes in Chinese language music, but also has its own share of language in other music in other languages rather. So it's been a performance venue for a lot of for a lot of people who simply love music and like to share a lot of music that goes on. And a major staple of the songs that people like to hear here, people like to listen to here, is stuff from your Sinyao movement in the 1980s and some other samples of Singaporean music that have happened in the years after. So there is actually a certain niche of people who are interested.
Wait guys, okay, I know why already. The stream is not
Sweet.
opening.
Wait
Okay.
I need to end this again. Stupid.
Something didn't quite work.
Yeah, then you see it's tilted. It's not supposed
Yeah, I need to check. Sorry guys, give me us a while, okay? I do not know why my phone is behaving, my streaming phone is behaving like this today. Okay. It's good now.
Yay.
So yeah, sorry about that. So you want to like continue your very it's very blurry. Screen is good, but it looks very pixelated, right? I see. Camera is good. Yeah. Okay, so sorry. You might want to continue your topic again.
Yeah, we were just talking about the fact that, the staple of the music that Singaporeans like to listen to over at this Music Dreamer Live Cafe is actually a lot of the music from the Sinyao movement in the 1980s. And also a fair sampling of some of the other Singaporean artists who have emerged in the 1990s and 2000s. We're talking Kit Chan, Mavis, JJ Lin, Stephanie Sun.
Yes.
Yeah, folks like those.
Wait, you said did who?
Mavis He.
Maybe
Xu Meijing.
Oh, Xu Meijing.
Yes.
Alright.
One of those things about Singaporeans, if we've been listening to Chinese music a lot, we are so used to hearing the names in Mandarin.
Yes.
So when you start seeing the names written in English, sometimes you don't get it.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say.
So yeah.
From what I know, when you say Dick Lee, I mean, I obviously I know Dick Lee.
Yeah.
But like, if you talk about Mavis He and I was like, wait, I'm confused. Who is Mavis He until when you say the Chinese name Xu Meijing? Then I'll be like, oh, okay, Xu Meijing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so like I understand that you have. Can hear good audio. Alright, very good. So I understand that you have been or rather been following the music industry for some time.
Yeah.
So do you want to tell us like what is your favorite genre?
I don't think I have a singular favorite in that sense, but I do lean significantly towards the music from the Sinyao movement. I think it has a certain place for us because of the simplicity of that era. The Sinyao movement itself obviously is inherited history from the Taiwanese Mingyao movement, which was from the late 1970s when school students in Taiwan were doing all this composing their own music and then singing their own songs. That particular energy transplanted itself to Singapore toward the early 1980s, and then that gave rise to the Sinyao movement. As you can see with people like Liang Wenfu, Eric Mu, Wu Xixian.
Yes.
So these are your iconic groups who emerged, iconic personalities who emerged from the Sinyao movement in the 1980s, and a lot of Singaporeans who grew up during that era or even slightly later in the 1990s would have been very familiar with the Sinyao movement music.
Yes.
Of course, the same may not necessarily be true for people who were born in the late 90s, noughties, who would only be about 20-something now at most.
Yeah.
So they would have been less familiar with the music from that period.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that places like Music Dreamer Live Cafe would have been able to showcase to them the meaning of this music.
Yes.
And unfortunately, the place is going to close down in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, sadly. Unfortunately, we can't really salvage much of the place, but what we can carry is the memory with us, right? I mean, I've recorded some of the videos on my phone, and I kind of reviewed them once in a while, and I'm like, oh, I miss this song. Like, this song is bring us back to so much memory. So I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Sinyao song?
Oh, that's tough because I've never really ranked music in a singular song kind of manner. So I don't have a singular personal favorite. I can say, however, that I've heard a lot of music that I know many people are not necessarily as familiar with. Because you look at the Sinyao movement, whenever we come to performances at Music Dreamer, as has been the case for the last few days, routinely everybody will ask to hear 细水长流. That is a very, very iconic
classic.
song. Yes.
Very
and
classic.
precisely because it's so classic, everybody knows it. But the Xinjiang movement is more than one song.
Yes.
The Xinjiang movement, I could even go so far as to say, is more than just one Liang Wenfu. There are so many other personalities involved, and there's so much music out there
Yes.
that we don't hear so much about those other songs. Even if you take something that was written by Liang Wenfu, you may not have heard so much, for example, about this song called 老张的三个女儿, The Three Daughters of Lao Zhang.
Wow, okay, I never heard of
You've
that.
never heard of that song,
Yeah.
but he wrote it.
Okay.
And it tells a story. This particular song, for example, tells the story of Lao Zhang's three daughters who face different obstacles, different challenges, the personalities that they grow up with, the difficulties they face. One of the daughters, for example, cannot study. Her studying is crap. So she goes through a life where she's like, where she's just kind of stumbling along. One of the other daughters is someone who was working, I think, in the civil service or something, if I remember correctly, and goes through this very straight-laced, boring life. So it's one of those songs that actually, through it, Liang Wenfu tries to tell the different sides of Singaporean life. And that's a song that, the fact that you haven't heard about it, and a lot of people haven't heard about that song, tells us something. So that's a whole huge trove of music in Singapore that people are not aware of, even within such an iconic sounding movement.
Yeah. So do you think like this 老张的三个女儿, right? This song, I don't think I heard it on radio before.
I don't think I've heard much of it on radio most of the time either, simply because again it is not one of the most obvious picks.
Okay.
Liang Wenfu has written, I don't know, 100, 200 songs within the Xinjiang movement alone. He's got a lot of production volume. He's written so much, and people routinely go back to 细水长流. People routinely go back to maybe 写一首歌给你, 水的话. So these are the somewhat more well-known songs, and then these get quite a bit of airing. Yes.
Yeah, I kind of missed that song. The what, the 芝麻?
Which one?
The one that all the different dialect they
yes,
added into that
麻雀咸
song.
竹枝.
Yeah,
This was
麻雀咸竹枝.
So this was a song that was actually banned on airplay, on Singapore radio airplay, when it was written, for the very simple reason that the song contains multiple lines in dialects. I think there was some Hokkien and some Cantonese. So for that reason,
And I think Hakka as well.
I think so, yeah. So what happened, of course, is that Singaporean radio, we had this regulation thing where they do not air anything that contains dialects, and that's a subject that obviously a lot of Singaporeans are very familiar with, and it's an issue close to their hearts.
Yes.
And because of that ban that had been in place for so many years, this song did not get airplay.
Yeah.
So it was actually quite a surprise, a pleasant one, that when the ban was lifted and the song was allowed to come on radio, not long after it became a theme song in a film that came out. This was I think it was that girl in Pinafore. 我的朋友我的同学国.
Yeah. Okay, I heard of that movie, but I've not watched it.
So you've not watched it. This song, 麻雀咸竹枝, actually ended up being the opening song for that movie. I mean, it was a film opening credits, and the song was happily just singing along by the cast. So yeah.
Okay,
And,
so I'll have to watch that show.
You should.
In order to feel the Singapore, back to the Singapore, the 80s, the 90s, and maybe the early 70s or the late 70s.
I think most of it was really 80s, 90s. So the film was done, I forgot exactly which year, somewhere in the last 10 years ish. So there was a lot of opportunity for nostalgia, because it was a year 20 something film, filming something that was going on in the 80s and 90s. So there's a lot of nostalgia attached to that.
Yeah.
And for a lot of Singaporeans, Xin Yao is about that nostalgia really.
Yes, that's true.
Of course, Singaporean music moved on beyond Xin Yao. In the 90s, the foundation of Xin Yao was that it gave rise to a lot of musicians who went into production, who continued into songwriting, and that led to the setup of Singaporean musicians who could go commercial.
Yes.
Which is why in the 1990s we proceeded to have people like Kit Chan. Kit Chan arose from a foundation, one can say, from the emergence of Ocean Butterflies, Haidie, the company.
Haidie音乐. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but Haidie音乐is actually developed in Singapore. His big brother, no name Sing No Name, he's told me about it. And if you guys want to follow him, do follow him on Twitter. He's only on Twitter right now, so do give him a follow. He's a super duper awesome, talented person. Do follow him on Twitter. Okay,
We give him more credit than I deserve. But yeah, so So yeah, Ocean Butterflies idea was founded in Singapore in the 1980s as a result of the Sinyao movement. And when they went commercial and wanted to start recording artists, one of the first people I think they got was Kit Chan, who was a very new, very raw young girl at that point. I think fresh out of RGS or something. I can't quite remember the details on this one because it's really been quite a while ago, and yeah, I wasn't following the news that closely when it started out back then. But yeah, so people like Kit Chan, people like Mavis, Kim I talked about, people like Jimmy Ye, Ye Rangjun, all these people came out in the 1990s because of the way Singaporean musicians were able to further hone their skills and wanted to put out something out there in the Singaporean market. When we realized that the Singaporean market, numbers-wise, was just too small.
Yes.
Because Singapore population at that point was what, 3 million?
I guess so.
Thereabouts, 1990s. So yeah, we're talking 5 or 6 million population in Singapore now. So backtracking back then, that would be about 3 million back then. And 3 million, not all of whom necessarily understood Mandarin. You have to take your Malay and Indian friends into account. And even within the Chinese population, not everybody was naturally inclined towards Chinese speaking music. But so that was the thing. So
I still know of friends, Singaporean Chinese friends, who are more interested in English songs first than Chinese songs. But I was born in the family where we listen to more Chinese songs than English songs. But
we realized that thing is not the same with all households. It's different from family to family, from person to person.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, in the even in the 80s and 90s, it was quite evident that Singaporean Chinese were largely divided into at least 2 different groups.
The Chakantang and the not Chakantang.
Yeah, to put it simply.
Yeah, so Chakantang means direct translation, it means eat potato, meaning they are the westernized Chinese, and then the non-Chakantang means the traditional Chinese, where we learn Chinese, we speak in Mandarin instead of English. Unlike the modern Singaporean family, unlike the modern parents now, most of the parents or most of the current generation, the children can only speak English, cannot understand Chinese. So yeah, there you get it.
Yeah. Well, so in the 1990s, coming back a little bit to that, is when people like Kit Chan emerged, as I mentioned, and of course Kit Chan, in order to grow her career, in order to further establish herself, would have to leave Singapore and go to, at that point, the most important Chinese language market, which was in Taiwan.
Yes.
Because at that point, we will remember, PRC had not opened up that much and evolved that fast yet. So Taiwan was a natural place to go to for people who wanted to further grow their Mando pop music career.
Yes.
So you have
Kit Chan first went to Taiwan to develop before coming back to Singapore.
I think she already tried to make some headway in Singapore. That she did release a number of albums, so got her noticed. But you want to grow a career further, you had to go to Taiwan in those days. It was a must, and she did all right. And at one point, I think she also based herself in Hong Kong. And during that time, she was even able to act in a number of Hong Kong TVB drama serials.
Serious?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. If you go to look for this TV series, 妙手仁心, I think it was. This TV series was about doctors.
Yeah.
So this was the one starring people like Lam Bo Yi, Lin Bao Yi. I think it was starring. I think Su Yong Kang had a couple of seasons on it.
I don't watch TVB.
So TVB Cantonese dramas was a huge thing in Hong Kong, obviously.
And in Singapore.
If you were acting in the TV drama, obviously Hong Kongers would see you.
Yes.
So yeah, huge for exposure, and Kit Chan got a couple of seasons for that. So it further helped boost her reputation in Hong Kong as well as Taiwan and Singapore and Malaysia.
I literally did not know that Kit Chan actually went to Hong Kong and was in a television series. I never knew that. Now I know. I'm like more impressed with our Singaporean talent right now. Not sure if you all know, but JJ Lin, I'm not sure if you know. I think you should know. JJ Lin was, he signed up with a American European company to further, have his outreach of his listeners instead of mainly Chinese and local.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, so now he's now in the American business line as well. So I think that's very impressive.
We'll have to see what can be built from there because the American market is itself very competitive.
It's very competitive.
So he's not going to be able to break into the American idea of mainstream so easily.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of room in America for multilingual, even just English language based performers. Because there already are a number of Singaporeans who are out there.
Yes.
Most of whom do English language music. We have Corinne May. Corinne May has been based in the US for the longest time.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I think if I recall, Olivia, I'm not sure if she's done that much in the US side.
She done quite a bit in the Japanese side.
That she has.
And I think, if I'm not wrong, she actually sing bossa nova for Japanese side.
Yeah, I mean, it's one way in which it's one way for her to get a foothold in Japan, and she's done that well. And another singer I remember who has been able to get a run of performances in the US, Inch Chua.
Yes.
Yeah,
Inch.
and Inch is as good as it gets from her generation, which would be the generation after the Kit Chan generation. I mean, Inch is about 20 something, early 30s at most, I think.
Really?
She's not that
I think
old.
She's early 30s.
She's not that old. I know that for sure. So
I'm not that old too.
yeah. So Inch has done pretty well for herself, breaking into the American music scene as a whole as well. And she's getting herself a little foothold there, and that's always nice for Singaporeans.
Yeah, I think it's nice because as we all know right now, there's a lot of Koreans that actually manage to get into the American business music industry, and I think it's only kind of so-called, I would say, only fair that we Singaporeans also have a chance to actually go into the American music industry.
Truth is, we've had a chance, and there have been people who have proven that we can.
Yeah, yes.
So yeah, that's the thing. If you are talented enough and you're determined enough and you work at it, you have people like Corinne May and Inch who have blazed that trail for us.
Yeah, and they actually studied in Berkeley, if I'm not wrong, Berkeley Music, right? And I actually kind of want to try out going to Berkeley,
It will be quite a challenge,
way,
definitely,
but
yeah.
I think it's going to be very challenging for me. One is I have no technically prior musical challenge. I mean, talent, yeah. And we are very challenging thing for me because I only know how to sing a certain song, like some Chinese songs, not everything.
But that's really for a lot of us to have something to aim towards, to be able to aspire towards, and really more than anything else, the fact that these people have made it out there shows that we've got stuff.
Yeah.
But that brings us back to this very weird puzzle we have in our heads: is how come we hear so little of them back home?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, the only reason why I know Olivia Ong was because she had this bossa nova Japanese music thing that I kind of, somebody introduced to me. Otherwise, I wouldn't even know about Olivia Ong. Even before she sang Ru Yan for Little No Yan in Singapore. And for Inch, obviously, she came from Singapore Idol, right? Was it? I think so.
I can't remember if that was considered her breakthrough, but I mean, she's been around for quite a bit.
Yeah, but before that, she actually, I mean, I only got to know her through Singapore Idol. Corinne May, wow, oh my god. I don't even remember how
You may have heard of Corinne May when she did, I think, one particular National Day song, she did that. And yeah, I mean, we've got a string of people who have done National Day songs before, so you would see that there's actually, the talent is there. I mean, that's really a given. We've seen a whole string of talent out there, but the opportunities, the platforms on which they are able to showcase their talent, and people being willing to give them that opportunity to show that talent.
That's true.
That's a little harder.
I mean, I personally would feel that it's very hard for Singaporeans, no offense, to reach out to the US side. But I mean, obviously there are, because like if you notice, just a bit of sidetrack, Zoe Tay,
That's Zoe Tay.
Zoe Tay, our MediaCorp queen of MediaCorp, she currently is signed up with a Hollywood agency as well as Dim Sum Dolly. What's her name again? Selena. Yeah, Selena also managed to get into Hollywood as well.
Yeah.
And I'm very impressed because ever since Crazy Rich Asian, a lot of Singaporean stars or celebrities, local celebrities, have been featured on TV as well. What's her name just now? We were talking about her.
Tan Keng Hua.
Tan Keng Hua as well. Yeah, and Tan Keng Hua, welcome home to Singapore. I'm so happy that you're back now. And I can't wait to watch the show. I think it's called Kung Fu.
Was it Kung Fu she was in? Off the top of my head.
Wait. Oh my
But
god.
it's not just Keng Hua. Tan Keng Hua. First I saw her and I'll say I'm probably a bit slow on that was when she appeared on television back in the 1990s. Masters of the Sea, yeah.
Sorry, I never watched that.
Yeah,
it's called Kung Fu.
Yes, Kung Fu was the film, yes. So yeah,
I'm sorry, I never watched Master of the Sea. The only reason why I know Tan Keng Hua was because of PCK.
right. I mean that came soon after.
Yeah.
It was a whole thing because Channel 5 started doing the English language drama serials thing in the 1990s. I think Masters of the Sea was one of the first projects that happened.
Really?
Yeah. Which, was a bit slow because Channel 8 obviously had all their Mandarin language drama serials.
I love all my Chinese drama series, especially from Singapore. Yeah.
So those drama series from Channel 8 began in early 1980s.
Really? I thought it was way before that. I mean, 乌索长流 was like...
乌索南洋 was 1982, 83.
Really?
Plus minus, it wasn't that early. It wasn't that early.
Really? I thought it was early 70s because based on the camera, it felt like it was based in the 70s when
It
they
wasn't.
filmed it.
That's the fun part. It wasn't. It was actually an early 1980s thing.
Wow, okay,
So,
okay.
so yeah, so 雾锁南洋, 新兵小传, all these very early 1980s TV productions. So
the camera was
that
really-
shows it's a different technology.
Yeah.
I mean, HD didn't exist then.
Yeah. And
So,
I really
yeah.
like watching it. I'm sorry for
No, that's fine.
So, yeah. So now we jump back to the music. Come back again.
Yeah.
Come back.
So, I mean, it's always a case of the talent is there. In so many fields in Singapore, the proof is always there. The talent is abundant.
Yes, there is.
But the opportunity to present their talent to Singaporeans and for Singaporeans to be receptive has always been difficult.
Yes. I mean, I don't think a lot of Americans actually know much of any Singaporean singers, except maybe Corey May and Win Chua and maybe JJ Lin. But do they even know about the Singaporean songwriters in Singapore? Do you know that, or rather, do you feel that Singaporean songwriters are very, the unsung heroes of the music
Definitely. I
industry?
mean, songwriters, the people who are behind the production of music, I mean, there's a lot of them. And okay, it's probably quite biased look at the American market because you're really just looking at one particular market, and even then in the language in which we are not so well known in terms of volume of production. But if you talk to people from Hong Kong and Taiwan about the Singaporean music makers, they probably know quite a bit of them, particularly if you speak to the industry insiders. And that's the thing, the industry insiders know their stuff. They know Wei Song, Si Song, they know Liang Wenfu, they know Xiao Han, Huang Yunren. These are all people who are singer-songwriters. I mean, Xiao Han and Huang Yunren, Eric Ng, they are the team that's behind a lot of the work that Tanya Chua does over in Taiwan. Okay. And I don't think Tanya's the only person they have written songs for that matter. So Xiao Han is very heavily sought after as a lyricist because of the perspective she's able to give her own style of lyrics writing, which puts her, I guess, on a par with people like Lin Si, Fang Wenshan, all these people in Hong Kong and Taiwan. These are songwriters, lyricists who have very high standing, and Xiao Han is up there with them. So Singaporeans can produce a lot of these talent, and it's really just a case of us really not knowing so much about them much of the time.
Yeah.
The platforms are there. We have a lot of opportunity to try to get our music out there, but getting a Singaporean audience to be receptive to them, that's where it really gets challenging. Because for various reasons, I don't know, the music market may have shifted in a certain way that we don't pay attention to our music as much. Having said that, there is always that niche core of people who do follow the talents out there that we speak of. Inch holds a concert in Singapore. She is able to fill out the Esplanade Concert Hall, I think. Yeah, that's got a capacity about 800 to about 1,200. Not bad. It's actually able to get a pretty good crowd over there. Okay. To try to get it bigger is a little challenging, but Inch is not very, very mainstream pop by any means, and that's okay. You look at Tanya, I think there was one year when Tanya was holding a concert in indoor stadium. I remember that this was one of the few concerts in indoor stadium where seating turned out to be something like close to 65% capacity.
Wow.
As opposed to the usual 80-90% capacity that you see for all these big stars that you get in indoor stadium.
Yeah.
You go to a Ame concert there, you go to Chen Qizhen concert there, or FIR concert there, sold out, no question.
So I think that one of the reasons is because maybe just maybe, I'm not sure if it's a fact, but I think it's maybe because of the marketing. I think.
I don't know. That's a bit hard to quantify.
Yeah.
The marketing would be a function of also what is perceived to be things that Singaporean audiences can take and accept.
Yeah.
We know that there's a certain style of marketing that Taiwanese companies do when they market within Taiwan.
Yeah.
And then we realize that these are things that are not easy to do in Singapore. I mean, if you are a singer physically in Taiwan and you are promoting your latest album, you do this run of appearances on television variety programs, game shows.
Yes.
You do a whole bunch of outdoor event concert thingies.
Yeah. Mini concert or surprise event, or even like those you just walk into a store and pretend to introduce your music to someone new and something like that. But in Singapore, I don't really see that.
The opportunity is
not there. The marketing and everything else is just missing, I feel.
And there's got to be reasons for it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's just like when I first heard of Lin Jun I can't even remember how, but I don't even remember when I got to know Lin Jun anymore. It's just like maybe I heard his song on radio or on television, and that's how I kind of like Lin Jun
But as an act of conscious marketing, you don't quite recall what may have happened.
Yeah, I mean like maybe in Taiwan or Hong Kong, maybe they will like kind of prank you or even like give like here's my CD, please have a listen, or they'll play your song loudly in some open area so people will actually like your song and stuff. But
there's a lot of opportunity I think for these things to be done, but it's also a function of how well people receive them.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it is about reception.
I think it's also because of they don't want, Singapore government is quite restrictive, and also because they don't want you to create a public nuisance.
I think the Singaporean government is restrictive in certain ways, but that doesn't mean that they will necessarily block everything. But then again, I don't work in a PR company, I have to say that. So I don't know what PR companies may or may not have tried before. So we are going to need to find somebody who has an insight on that before we can better understand that. But one of the things that, talking about promotion of Singaporean music, one of the things that happened with the Sinyao movement in the 1980s is that it got some help from the TV industry at that point. In that a lot of TV drama serials in the 1980s and early 1990s picked songs that were Singaporean in origin, Sinyao compositions and stuff. Which is why, for example, if you watch Cafe Wu, a popular sitcom, you would know Kopio very well because that was their theme song.
Yes.
You would know Iwan Guoqu because that was that was the key other song that they often play at the end. Doesn't remember. 对生命你不必存有怀疑，人生本来像一出戏。
I think so.
You vaguely remember that one. I think some of you who are watching this might remember that song.
Yeah. I mean, most of them, if they are like, born before me. Yeah, if they are born after me, maybe not.
Yeah. So if they were born after you, that would be closer to the 1990s, which was about the time when a lot of the music that went into our TV drama serials were important.
Yes.
In some cases, they were tailor-made. Zhang Xueyu, for example, did sing a couple of songs that were very dedicated compositions tailored to those shows.
Really? Zhang Xueyu?
Yeah,
wow.
It happened. I think if you have heard of the TV drama serial in the 1990s called 潮州家族, 潮州家族 was about this Teochew family
from China, right?
Who emigrated from China.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait. 潮州家族. I thought. Wait. I only vaguely recall that Zoe Tay was inside.
I think so. Qiu Chao-ming, I think, was another one.
And they were filming in China.
I think they had scenes.
Yeah, they filmed in China.
So if
yes.
That particular TV drama serial, theme song was by Zhang Xueyu. It was one of the rare ones which was penned by a Singaporean lyricist. I think the lyrics, especially tailored for that TV drama.
Okay, I'm impressed. Color me impressed. I mean, how you got Jackie Chan to sing a Singaporean song for TV series?
It wasn't that out of the ordinary, really, because by that time in the timeline, I think he
wasn't
already
famous yet?
No, he was famous. When Beer and All already came out.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. My bad.
So he's already a superstar, but he's already had the experience of working with Singaporeans. So Singaporean musicians at that point were already sufficiently well known for them working with Hong Kong and Taiwan music companies not to be a surprise anymore.
Wow.
So, but yeah, that was the era when we had all this relatively imported material, as opposed to the Xinjiang movement. Because in the 1980s, a lot of the TV drama songs from the Xinjiang movement got their airplay through these TV dramas, and at that point, a lot of Singaporeans were watching the Channel 8. And that's where things have changed, because honest to goodness, how many of you out there have watched any Chinese drama serial from Channel 8 in the last 5 years?
Wait.
You actually struggle to remember from time to time.
小梁儿.
Okay, thereabouts. Okay.
I mean, wait,
Xiao Liang was a bit more than 5 years, yeah, but yeah. So you remember some of these shows, not so much some others?
I mean, I normally watch at prime time, about 7-ish, because
Yeah.
like I kind of like the can relate to them.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
example, like Papa Yao, I can literally relate to Papa Yao a lot.
That works.
Was it Yao Yao Ba?
No, Yao Yao Ba. Papa Yao was the Royston Tan movie. Yeah.
I can relate to Yao Yao Ba because of the storyline. So
Yeah.
I kind of love it. I'm sorry, but I cannot remember the song.
That's okay, but Yao Yao Ba actually gave a lot of opportunity, I think, for a number of songs to be performed along the way.
Yeah.
Difference is Yao Yao Ba ran a relatively nostalgic line, so a lot of songs are actually comparatively familiar old
Right.
pieces.
Yeah.
So they just
just renewed,
Yeah. So fresh compositions, not so much. But as we know fairly well, every drama serial needs a theme song, needs a tachi right at the end. And a lot of these have been produced along the way. And the thing is, while TV drama serials continue to be aired, while MediaCorp continues to produce a lot of these TV drama serials, not all that stuff is important after all.
I mean, sorry, but I kind of miss Song Qian Zhi Zun, God
Things
of
like that,
Thunder,
yeah.
The theme song, because that was one of my first time hearing Zoe Tay sing.
Oh, that was the second series, the
Season 2,
season
right?
2, the one where she was collaborating with Li Zhongsheng, Jonathan Lee.
Was he Taiwanese? Sorry, I can't remember.
Yes.
Taiwanese, right? Yeah.
Li Zhongsheng, yeah. Yeah, that one. I mean, it's Li Zhongsheng. He is the 大哥 of the Taiwanese music
Really?
scene.
Okay, now I know. I mean, yeah, I really love that song because I still can remember how to sing that song. That's how impactful that show is to me.
Yeah, that's what TV dramas do to you. TV dramas in that period had music that was impactful to us, not least because we followed that drama ourselves. But things have changed today in the sense that a lot of people nowadays, with more recent drama serials, we don't watch a lot of them, we don't follow a lot of them that closely, and because of that, we don't follow the music does not come along with it that closely to us.
Okay.
I mean, I just one of the things that happened recently to me while I was coming to Music Streamer recently, because now that they've announced that they are closing, I actually come literally every day.
Yes.
Compared to before when I came like maybe 2 or 3 or 4 times a week. Now I come every day, and even now I discover new songs, at least new to me songs. So one day what happened was that some of the performers over here performed this song that I heard was new to me for the first time.
And that song is?
And I went to have a Google of it. It's a local composition called 诀别书, which was written by Jim Lim Lin Qiyu from Mo Bei Chuan.
Wow.
Yeah, he sang it together with Cha Ban Sheng, so it's a duet-ish kind of song.
A collaboration.
Collaboration, yeah.
Wow.
And here's the fun thing: 诀别书 was the 插曲 for 动荡的年代. The Xinjue trilogy, the second instrument.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and 动荡 was about roughly 6 years ago. 2015, plus minus.
I never watched that show because I mean, yes, it's historical and all, but
Uh-huh.
I am sorry, I love history, but that was a bit draggy. That's why I didn't like it.
Yeah, but
stop watching it.
So the thing is, so it's a Jim Lim composition, and Jim Lim compositions rarely fail. Here's the thing: But because I wasn't watching Dong Dang at that point,
Yeah.
the song never appeared on my radar. And so for the first time, 6 years after it aired on television, I hear the song over here at Music Dreamer. And I listen to it, it's like, wow, that's good. And then I found out, oh, Lin Qi wrote it, of course it's good.
Okay. Alright.
But it's that kind of thing where if you do not have the opportunity to get that song out there, to give it a lot of the airplay it deserves, people simply don't hear it and so they don't know about it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of very good stuff that just misses us because of that. We've had a lot of good music from a variety of Singaporeans along the way. Even if you look at Kit Chan, for example,
Yeah.
not that many Kit Chan die-hard fans out there who can name you most of the important compositions in her career.
Wow.
I mean, I can't either. I haven't got that far, but there
Not
are.
even a fan, to be honest. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But
I love
there-
you, Kit Chan. I love you, but I don't know any of your songs. If you are watching this, if you happen to chance upon this, I am so sorry. Okay.
I mean, the average Singaporean probably knows anywhere between 5 to 10 Kit Chan songs. In reality, she's probably sung more than 100.
Very sure.
So you get ratios wise. I mean, if you've heard of Kit Chan and you're not really a big fan, you probably have heard of Xin Tong. 望着你突然一阵心痛 That one, okay.
Yeah.
You've heard of that. You probably heard of 喜欢你. No,
that one is not.
喜欢你，给我你的话
Yes, that one
Yeah,
is
you
always
heard-
on radio.
So you heard that?
Still on radio.
You definitely have heard of Home. No chance you can't.
If you never heard of Hope and you're Singaporean, you are a disgrace.
So everybody has that song list of roughly 5, 10, maybe 15 songs from Kit Chan. But in reality, she's probably done over 100. She's released how many albums now? So the ones who are more idiot would have known songs like, for example, He.
What?
You probably know, it's one of those, yeah, or 伤了和气. Right, I've got that one. So you may not have heard of some of these other compositions that she's released before. Or 逼得太紧，爱被逼得那么紧，两人都伤心. No, you haven't heard that. A lot of Singaporeans haven't either. But yeah, that's how big her library is. And I mean, we come back to this point over and over. It's the fact that we have a lot more music than we realize there is. But Singaporeans often they haven't heard, they haven't seen, they are not naturally curious about these things.
Yep.
And so, yeah, we miss that opportunity to be able to keep pushing that music out and let more people feel the impact of, oh yeah, we've got these guys, they're great, they're actually very, very good.
Okay, so what do you think about, say, okay, let's just bring a bit of recent news today.
Yeah.
Okay, we obviously heard of the news that recently that Stephanie Soon,
Stephanie, yes.
that very, very funny incident where a Chinese so-called new generation, younger generation Chinese who have never heard of Sun Yansi, Stephanie Soon, and her songs, and thought that she's some
Obscure singer.
Obscure singer. That
The word they used, I think, was obscure singer.
obscure.
Yeah.
Direct translation was, technically translated obscure.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Are you Singaporean? Hi, I'm Singaporean. Yes, we are. We
Yes.
are both Singaporeans. So we actually talk about Stephanie Su, when that she's obscure as a China younger generation music singer, listener, or fan who never heard of Stephanie's son.
Yeah.
Right? And how do you feel about that? I mean, like, obviously Stephanie's son has actually saying that.
Stephanie's definitely taken it very well, I have to say, because typical Stephanie's son to be able to respond very well to social media stuff that doesn't make her look great. I mean, we all remember that McDonald's photo incident.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
She was queuing up at McDonald's and then
In
somebody
her
took a picture
t-shirt
of her,
and flip-flops.
and hot pants.
Oh yeah.
And that was after she gave birth.
No, I think it was before.
Before? Really?
I think so, yeah.
I thought it was after.
It's really been quite a long time, I know.
Yeah, I can't really remember. But all I remember was that time she was already married, and I was actually surprised to even have a glimpse of her on Twitter. And apparently Stephanie is very
active on Twitter most of the time?
Not very, but she floats on from time to time. I mean, she appears on Twitter more than most other
Celebrities
who are.
Singaporean mostly, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, so the thing is definitely takes things very well. But coming back to personally, how do I feel about it? I don't feel that hurt personally because I can see it from a sense of context. Because we do know that in China, in previous generations, seems a bit deep. But only several years ago, Chinese netizens are known to be very resourceful and willing to go and research, go high and low, searching for material, searching for songs they have not heard of before, and then digging out stuff that they did not know exist.
Yeah.
I think the difference is that generation knew better than to assume that they already know so much and that people they have not heard of are therefore obscure.
Yeah.
They earlier generations may not have been so presumptuous as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, to be honest, not every Singaporean know about any China singer, to be honest.
But there are different reasons for that.
Yeah, I mean, they could be, I guess one is they really like hardly sing a song. Two, it could be that they are really obscure, even more obscure than what they call us.
With China, with China the situation is quite different. Quick run through of Chinese language, mental pop history, as it were, is that remember I mentioned just now that China had not opened up as a country until about the 1990s, maybe year 2000 period. So what happens is that your Mandarin language music primarily was a scene of Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia as a block.
Yes.
Mainland China didn't really enter the picture that much because at that point the market had not really opened up that much.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the way the world was at that point in time. China did not open up under the Deng Xiaoping policy until the Deng Xiaoping policy came along in 1980s. And even then the music didn't go that far. Already it was quite an impactful thing that in the late 1980s, early 1990s, the 一无所有 album by Cui Jian made it to Taiwan. That was itself already a breakthrough. But the progress from that continued to be relatively slow for at least a decade, I guess.
Until the early
2000 period.
Then we start hearing all the Chinese song coming out.
Yeah.
Like Dao Lang song,
Yeah.
两只蝴蝶 kind of thing, which
So those were later, but also because I guess the way in which Chinese, as in from China, music companies work differently from those in Taiwan because like a lot of other soft cultural things from China, a lot of it was really aimed at domestic market consumption.
yes, that's true.
And with a population of 1.something billion, who blames them?
Yeah,
They were capable of making enough money out of their domestic consumption
Yeah.
that really marketing overseas wasn't going to need to be a factor.
Yeah, but
So-
I guess recently they come out from the so-called their shell is because they want to so-called, as we all know, the so-called world domination of China by the music industry.
I think that's a bit
by
iffy
everything
because
else, but
you also have to remember, as far as that's concerned, you also have to remember one thing, which is that even today, based in China, music companies don't really leave China to do world tours much. You think about it carefully enough, people like Han Hong, people like people like people like Liu Huan, people like even today when you look at Wang Feng, for example, they don't go on tours out to Taipei, Hong Kong, Singapore, Melbourne, or wherever. That's still not in their marketing, in their promotion programming.
could it be because the currency rate, so they can't really travel out of China?
I don't know. I don't know, but I don't think that really is a factor at all. Because again, when you have a population of 1 billion, let's round it up to 2 billion. Let's call it 2 billion.
All right, 2 billion.
That's about what, 1/4 of the world population. How many of the world population speak Mandarin again? So
That's a good
if you dominate the China market that much, everything you pick up in Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, US, Australia is marginal at best. So investments wise, is it worth the trouble? Maybe I think not.
Yeah.
So because of that, Chinese music companies don't need to come out and do all this promotion stuff.
Okay.
Instead, we just hear them because increasingly everybody else in the world is watching Chinese television.
Yes, that's true.
Without the Chinese television companies actually pushing their goods out of the country, they don't really need to. So that's a different byproduct problem. But yeah, it's why we don't really have this kind of programs, this PR work pushing all this material out to us or to Hong Kong or to Taiwan. On the other hand, you do get the occasional born in China artist who goes to join a Taiwanese music company and tries to grow from there. Ding Tang being a prime example.
Oh, is it?
Ding Tang is actually, Ding Tang is from the mainland.
Wow.
But she moved over to Taiwan really early on to try to push her career forward. I think Sun Zi, if I'm not wrong, also was.
Wait, what? Serious?
I think so. I have to go and check my facts. This one I might be off. So yeah, from time to time these things I do get wrong here and there.
I have
We certainly know that Wang Fei was actually born in mainland, but had to make her music breakthrough in Hong Kong and in Taiwan. It wasn't a Chinese company that got her forward. That's the point.
That was rock, right?
1990s. That was like really long time ago now. So
But it should be rock, right?
I think it was 滚石 rock. Yeah, I think it was
rock music.
So, or is it 宝丽金? One or the other. But yeah, I mean, it's that's the dynamics of that. But coming back, what does it mean for all these Singaporeans particularly trying to make that breakthrough and trying to get recognized in China, especially in China, because getting it established and recognized in Taiwan and Hong Kong, we've been there for 20 odd years, we know the drill.
Yes.
Getting recognized in China works on a whole different dynamic today, and that's why you would have all these singers who would need to appear on these programs to try to do things. I think Kit Chan had a run on one of these talent programs. I think it was a or something.
But that was in China.
That was in China, but it didn't go that well for Kit Chan. And honest to goodness, I don't really think she cared that much.
Technically she's famous enough. She don't need China.
She's got enough self-confidence to feel comfortable with what she can do, not to feel that she's got to do weird things. On the other hand, you look at what Nathan Hartono and Joanna Dong have managed to achieve when they were having their run on the Sing China programs.
Oh yes.
They were good.
They're very good. I mean, I'm very impressed with Nathan Hartono. Being a non-native Chinese speaking, and then he can literally sing Chinese song badly.
It's good for him.
And it was very, very good to the extent where I am super duper impressed. I also know Nathan Hartono, you might be watching it because he also string games and also play with Joking on the Twitch as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're watching this, thank you.
But yes, people like Nathan, they've been able to prove their talent really. I mean, they haven't really had to go out of their way or anything. They've got it means they've got it.
Yeah.
Joanna's been doing jazz music in Singapore for upwards of a decade before she made that TV program breakthrough. So she's got it. Okay. These are people who have got it and can be totally confident about themselves. So what does it mean for people in China who have not heard of them? It doesn't hurt them that much. The fact that this particular young chap got told off by his own idol, Xiao Zhan, I think it was, right?
Yes.
About the fact, how can you not know about Sun Yanzi?
Yeah.
I think that...
How dare you?
I think that answer from Xiao Zhan itself says something. Music industry insiders have the greatest respect for people who are talented, no matter where they come from.
Yeah. Okay, so now I want to bring in back a few things. What do you think about local a cappella bands, such as My Cappella?
Local a cappella bands, we've seen quite a few over the years. We've had people like My Cappella. I can't remember whether Da Feng Shui counts as well. A lot of these groups actually emerged from your talent programs that were quite the thing in Singapore back in the 2000s period. There were quite a few.
Really?
And My Cappella, of course, is one of the most well-known ones, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're great. They continue to improv. They continue to look for things to mash up and play with, and that's great. And that's the spirit of a cappella, really.
Yeah.
So kudos to them for that.
So
They're not the only ones, though.
Really? Okay, I didn't know. I mean, to be honest, I only know about My Cappella.
Right.
Yeah.
You missed out because I actually used to follow before they retired and disbanded some time ago. There was this other fairly fun group of five uncle-ish people.
Really?
Yeah. This group called Budak Pantai.
Familiar.
Yes. Budak Pantai was a bunch of 5 men, Singaporean.
Right?
I don't know whether they are Peranakan specifically? I don't know about
they
that.
sang the song, what's the song? They sang Because of Singapore, and then they did it in a cappella version.
Uh-huh.
And then I think they did the Singapore Town. Oh, that's just literally because
Yeah, no. But that,
Singapore Town, yeah, in a cappella, and it was featured on Sentosa Island, non-stop, I would say.
Budak Pantai have done a number of very interesting projects in their time until they decided to retire some time ago.
That's
But then again, they were only in their late 40s, early 50s-ish, I guess. So yeah.
I think they will come back.
I don't think they'll come back as a regular gig kind of thing, but they have already hinted at that time that they would be open to doing one of those reunion gigs from time to time.
I
And that's
love
okay.
reunion gigs.
That's cool. But the thing is that Budak Pantai were already an example before my capella came along of people who could take music, have fun, run with it, and do things. I mean, you can find some Budak Pantai music, some original, some mashed up on YouTube. They've done a number of performances. I remember watching them at a Singapore Arts Festival gig over at the Padang one year. Oh, very, very fun stuff. So I've seen them do some very fun material, and one of the more interesting things that's available on YouTube, I like to watch that particular video from time to time. You will see them do a mashup involving 4 songs. One of which was the Singapura, that one. I think they were doing that as a collaboration for some event with the Japanese embassy or something like that.
Whoa,
So they were showcasing material. So they did a song where they did this mashup where they had that. They had a Japanese folk song called Shima Uta, which was a song that the Shima Uta, by the way, was a song that Yang Jingru covered when she was doing 不想睡.
Oh, 不想睡,
That song, by the way, the origin was actually a folk song, a Japanese folk song. So that was part of the mashup. Also in that mashup was a song from Wu Bai that very few people know about. Some people even thought that it was a complete original Budak Pantai composition. It's not. It's a Wu Bai rock song.
Which one?
现在也再会，现在也再会啦。
心爱
Okay, some of this sounds obscure to you, and that's fine. Look for it.
Sorry, I'm
look for it on YouTube.
Yeah.
And they did that. They did that. They mashed it up together with I think it was the Time to Say Goodbye. That song.
Yes.
So they're taking multiple songs and mashing the whole thing up.
Wow.
And it was absolutely fun. It was bonkers.
Impressive.
And well, bonkers is probably a very good way of describing a lot of the stuff that Budak Pantai were doing. And Budak Pantai is one of several other vocal a cappella groups. Vocaluptuous, you would have heard of them perhaps? Not really. Again, you missed out because they again belong to a different generation. They will be roughly the same generation as Budak Pantai, and in fact, one of the lead singers, one of the key singers for keys really not right. When you're in a cappella, you're all key. Every member is key in your own way.
Yeah.
And one of the better known singers in Vocaluptuous is actually Dick Lee's brother John Lee. Yeah, not kidding. So yeah, we've got groups like them. So these provide inspiration for groups that come after, like my capella. It's what music that you choose to do and what you then try to play with it. And then my capella's own work is important though, because I remember that my capella does a lot for Chinese pop music. I don't know whether specifically Singaporean pop music. I don't know if they focus on that in particular.
I think it's mostly Mandro pop.
But
because
not necessarily Singaporean.
Not necessarily Singaporean, because we know that they have covered a lot of Mandro pop songs.
Shows that they are keen in this music. They listen to it a lot.
Yes.
It's source material.
Yeah, I kind of am very interested because they actually do a lot of covers Mandro pop songs. All the Mandro pop songs that they cover are always the popular kind.
And that's common.
That's very common.
It's an easy entry in a sense.
Yes, but I'm very impressed by them because they did really, really well. The composition, everything else. It's not like it's literally a copy from that and then they just beatbox their way. It was literally they made a revelation for their own.
It's what is often done for a lot of these for a lot of these a cappella groups.
Yeah.
If you go and listen to samples of stuff from Vocaluptuous, you'd say the same. You listen to stuff from.
Sounds familiar.
It should. If you get a chance. Vocaluptuous also did a number of very interesting covers and remixes involving Singaporean music.
Ah.
So yeah, I think they've got a very interesting mix for Di Tanjong Katong, for example. They blended it with a whole new bunch of other lyrics as well.
Okay.
Budak Pantai, you would be able to see some very interesting stuff they did with. I think Budak Pantai did a very hilarious version of Kan Lan Su. They actually did a very broken translation of Kan Lan Su as well.
橄榄树 is
不要问我从哪里来. Yeah. So that first line, 不要问我从哪里来, they literally translated it and deliberately got it wrong. Do not ask where my work comes from.
Do not ask where my work comes from.
So they misheard 从 from worm. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. That sounds fun.
it sounds hilarious. So these are things that these people do, which emphasizes their talent. And again, the very interesting thing is I've attended Budak Pantai outdoor concerts. Well attended. There was one at the Esplanade outdoor concert area. Well attended, but the place only seats a few hundred people.
Yeah.
Which means again, a lot of Singaporeans missed out.
I mean, they either missed out or they were standing around, do not really know who they are, because like I've been to the Esplanade outdoor theatre. It really has a limited seating, but a lot of them would stand around or walk around because there's no place to sit.
Yeah.
And
They go through the whole thing and not realize what's going on.
yeah. Or they will like the song, they'll dance, they'll jiggle a bit, and then after like, oh, nice song. Who's that?
Yeah. So these are things that we miss out on. I mean, I look back at all these music that I listen to from so many different genres. I mean, we started today's conversation talking about Singaporean Chinese music, particularly the Xinyao movement.
Yes.
And we've already veered over to English language music,
Yes.
sampling into God knows wherever else, so many other different fields.
Yes.
And this is just a starter because there is a wealth of material about Singaporean music over the years. And the recurring theme that keeps coming out from today's conversation is there is more than we realize we know.
Yes.
Singaporeans miss out a lot on stuff they've simply never heard of.
That's true. I mean, most of us right now, the younger generation, including myself as well, I claim that I'm
Okay,
younger.
I'm not that old yet either. I mean,
Okay,
it works both ways.
we listen to more English songs on radio, even though I listen to Yes to San San every morning. And if I work from home, I listen to Yes to San San like from day to night.
Right.
Okay, I mean, I will listen to songs that they only play, and I would like those songs. For example, like recently, my favorite song to sing is actually 刻在你心里的名字。
刻在我心里的名字。
刻在我心里的名字。
The song by Lu Guangzhong,
Yeah,
Proud
by
Lu.
Proud Lu. And written apparently, he told me
Yeah.
that it is written by three
musicians.
musicians.
I forget exactly how many are Singaporean, how many are Malaysian.
Yeah.
But there's only Singaporeans and Malaysians in the mix.
Yeah, I was really impressed by it. That's why I was like, well, okay, it's not bad. I mean,
It's a half Singaporean composition.
yeah, and I have kind of like, I'm proud to say that I like singing that song.
Yeah.
No offense.
It's cool because it again goes back to what I've been saying more than once today alone, the fact that our talented people, they're really talented, they're good enough to do these things.
Yeah.
So a number of Jackie Chung songs, not that a lot, it's not a majority of course, but a sizable number is written by Singaporeans. I mean, Li Song contributed to a couple of it as well. I think and the stuff that people like Xiao Han, people like Huang Yunren, people like Lin Xiyu, Jim Lim, the stuff they've contributed, there's quite a bit out there.
Yep.
And it's just that we haven't necessarily been reaching out and listening to it ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's reasons for it. It's one of the reasons why it's so important to be able to find platforms, both online and offline,
Yep.
to be able to push this music.
Yeah.
And it's why we should ask more. So what else is there that we haven't heard before?
Yes.
And the answer is a lot.
A lot, way too much. I mean, I would love to talk a lot about this, but unfortunately, we're running out of time because this big brother here is going to Music
Dreamer, yeah.
Music Dreamer Live Cafe.
They're having another performance later at 8:15.
At 8:15. So
It's already sold out though. So yeah.
I mean, I'll watch online, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm gonna miss this place a lot, even though this was my first time coming. My first time going to Music Dreamer Live Cafe, thanks to you, over here at Imperial Mall. Previously, I actually was...
You did pop by for some times at the old venue at Marina Square.
Yeah, at Marina Square, a number of times. So I kind of miss the place. I love going there because their jokes are kind of cold, but yet not harmful enough.
No, they're quite alright.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the other important thing is really, I mean, it's, as we speak right now, Singapore is still going through phase 3 of the COVID recovery thing, which means that nearly all other venues that are able to perform live music right now are not operating in that way.
Yeah,
they can't because, or partially because they can't quite have performances while people are trying to drink alcohol.
Yeah.
So that's off. Places like Esplanade and MBS are opening up to do concerts. Yes.
With limited seatings.
Yes, but even then, it's quite limited what you would be able to hear in venues like that.
Yeah.
Michael Pella's doing a performance. They were doing a performance thing not that long ago, right? Over at MBS.
Yes, I believe. Together with Mock Phase 1. Yeah, they all.
But yeah, the stuff you get to hear from those is again comparatively limited. So one of the things that we should really be asking ourselves more about is when we are able to go back to these venues that used to have all these live performances, how hard are we going to push to ask to hear more about locally made music?
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a thing to talk about.
I really hope that you'll be sooner than later, because if not, right, sooner or later, our next generation, they only listen to English songs, Singaporean Chinese songs. I'm sorry, but you'll be
I think there's a lot. I mean, even if they're going to be listening to English songs, I think it's not so much that it's English songs that is going to bother me. It is going to bother me more that we are not opening ourselves up to the idea of listening to Singaporean-made music.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, if you've never heard of Inch Chua, go listen to her music. Give it a try. You may not end up liking it in the end, but you can at least say you have tried.
Yeah, I mean...
And who knows, you may like it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the whole important thing is that we Singaporeans must learn to kind of accept Singaporean songs as well, not just international songs, because I can imagine one day if like people ask you, is there any celebrities in Singapore or musicians that you know in Singapore? And you'll be like referring to like, you know, the old celebrities or the old artists whereby the local new artists or incoming artists, you don't even know them.
Yeah.
You'll be like, you can't even tell. Or sometimes some people might be even too shy to even say that Singapore got no celebrity, no musician, no singers. Actually, that's not true.
That's very not true.
Very not true. We have. It's just that they are either too well known or not known at all. So I think that the whole point is we need to really get back to our...
I mean, we need to ask. We need to ask ourselves. We need to do the looking up, listening up, because there's a lot of very interesting material out there that we should be trying to hear about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I feel that we should literally go and identify some Singaporean artists in Singapore performing, say musically or not just musically, it's just like all over the world, right? Like Singaporeans contributing internationally through their vocals, through their performance. I think that's really what we want to do, and that's how I feel that we need to recognize them for this. Yeah. If not, it's really like such a...
It is. I mean, it's just these talents out there. They deserve our recognition for trying. You may not agree with what they do. They may not be to your personal taste. But the least we can do is give them that chance and see what it is they are trying to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? You may actually end up liking it. It's the thing that you need to give them a chance as well as give yourselves a chance as an audience, as a listener.
Okay, so we're gonna end the stream shortly because the big brother here need to go for his concert, and it's not a long distance walk, it's just a short distance walk. We are still in the same mall. It's just that we want to end the stream so that we can talk more before he goes.
I think we kind of want to be able to end it properly, because if we don't, this thing we could easily run this to midnight. Yeah.
Then he won't be able to go for his concert. I won't be able. Technically, I can stay, but he won't be able to enjoy his concert, and I'll be like bothering him. And of course, if there's more topic to talk about, I'll definitely try to meet him again.
There'll be more chances.
There'll be more chances, yeah. Because like now soon, Music Dreamer Cafe, no more, right? Then he got no excuse to say he cannot go out. So you will have to meet me and we can talk more. So thank you all for coming again. So sorry that this stream was kind of bad earlier on my first stream. I'm gonna delete that. Or rather, not gonna delete that.
We're trying to fix that. Yeah.
I can't fix.
Oh.
So it's live stream. So it's gonna be there. But thank you all for coming to my stream. And once again, thank you so much for coming over and talk to me and on this podcast.
Yeah.
So if you guys have any more questions, I do send your questions on Discord. And if there's a next time I'm meeting this big brother over here, I will definitely ask that question for you guys. Alright. See you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah.
I was like, I do not know what else to ask, and I'm thinking of questions.